Hi, I'm Donna, and this is Coco. And today's class is going to be about finding your strength. So we're going to be doing some strong work for your arms, and you might like a couple of blankets handy or whatever tools you like to have to support you. I've got a short video about hands and wrists, and it might be a good idea to look at that before you start this class. Let's get started. We're going to lay down on our backs. Oh, you can lay down too, Coco. Yes. How exciting. All right, you're going to take your arms just loosely overhead. Just noticing how your shoulders feel. And if this already feels like a difficult posture for you, maybe this isn't quite the right class. You need to be kind to sore shoulders. But if this feels really nice just to open your chest and your throat, then this is going to be a great class for you. Good, and then you're going to stretch your arms out straight. Go ahead, take hold of your left wrist with your right hand and just gently ease the left side of your body a little longer. You can bend the spine a little to the right, reaching in that direction. Good, and then coming back to center, stretch out through both arms, palms facing. And take hold of your right wrist with your left hand, and you're going to ease the right arm across to the left. Lengthen your right ribs. You might just bend the spine a little bit, making a little bit of a banana shape. Good. And then coming back to center. Good. Nice relaxed throat. Stretch out through your arms, palms facing. Try taking your little fingers up to the ceiling. So we're going to bend the arms that way, hands straight up. And then down the other way, so thumbs pressed down to the floor. Just notice what goes on in your arms, your shoulders when you do that. Try that again. Little fingers up to the ceiling, throat relaxed, thumb down to the floor. We're trying to keep the hands on two even planes. Good, and then stretching out through fingers, palms facing, throat relaxed. You can stretch out through your legs as well. Whole body lengthening. Nice work. Might bring your legs in, roll over to your right side and come into a kneeling position, or you can follow me and cross your ankles and roll up and then step back into your kneeling position. Good. Forward Virasana. We're going to get the arms as straight as you can, but keep your shoulder blades reaching back. Front of the throat long, neck long. Okay. And stretch your fingers out wide. Good. And from here, come up into all fours and have a look at your fingers. Okay, so we want even spaces between the fingers, but give the biggest stretch that you can. So if your little fingers go out lots more than the others, just bring them in so the spaces are even. Stretch the thumbs towards each other. Fingerprints press down, thumbs press towards each other. Good. And we're going to let the hips swing across to the right and then hips across to the left. If you need a blanket under your knees, you can do that. Good. So we're just swinging from side to side. Okay, now we're going to take a little more pressure into the wrists if you take your knees back further. So good. And again, you can go even stronger. You can start to be in plank position and swinging from side to side. So you can lift your knees off the floor. Don't do it if it feels too strong. We roll over on the feet. Get a toe stretch too. Good. And then coming back to center, bring your knees to the floor. Okay, you're going to rest your hands beside you, and in child's pose, if you squeeze your fingers into a fist and squeeze and release until your hands feel really relaxed. Okay, stretch your arms forward virasana. Just noticing if already that was quite strong in your wrists, they're feeling warm. And come up into all fours position again. Okay, the further forward the hands are, then the less angle. So that's going to make it a little bit easier for your strong arm work. Okay, so if you're having trouble with your wrist, try that movement instead. Okay, we're going to have the wrist under the shoulders if that feels okay. Good. And then you're going to sit your bottom back and then ease forward just as far as you're able to manage that stretch for your wrists. Okay, so the fingers are nice and wide. You're pressing the fingerprints, the base of the index fingers. We're going to try and keep the elbow creases facing so that your arms are rotating evenly. Good, just seeing how that feels. Good, and then bring your hands back to the front of the mat so you've got room. So you're either in modified plank position, so with the knees back on the floor, or tuck your toes under and take the knees off the floor. Okay, so remember you can have your hands further forward so that angle is not as strong in your wrists if you need. Okay, and then from plank this time we're going to spin right over, right hip drops down towards the floor and you spin across on your feet. Good, and then left hip, let it drop down towards the floor, you spin across on your feet. Good. Keep going side to side. You're going to try and keep your neck nice and long. Good. And then drop your knees to the floor. Rest your hands into child's pose. You might like that feeling of squeezing and releasing and squeezing and releasing. Letting go of tension. And maybe with all that focus on your wrists, you're forgetting to keep the tension out of your neck, or your throat, your shoulders. So just see where tension leaves your body. Good. And then reaching your arms all the way forward to straighten. And this time come up into downward facing dog pose or Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Good, so the fingers are wide, even spaces, press the fingerprints, the base of the index fingers. You can lift your hips as high as possible. You might need to bend your knees to do that. If you've got your heels pressing down to the floor and straight legs, still try to lift the sit bones. So you're lifting the pelvis, and the higher you can get that, then the more room there is for the spine to lengthen. Or the more you are assisted by gravity. Let your head just hang down, relax your neck and your throat. Good, feel where the weight is in your hands. Finger pads, base of the index fingers. Good, and then into plank position, either with your knees off the floor or on the floor, whichever one you're practicing. All right, now we're going to roll the heels to the right side. Stay in your plank position and see if you can take your left arm up to the ceiling. Open the heart. Good, so your feet cross on the mat, so they're keeping your balance there. So it's a version of Vasisthasana. Come back to center, plank position, and then we roll the heels to the left. Lift your right arm up off the mat. Good. Roll the heels across to the right. Lift the left arm up. Good. Roll the heels to the left. Lift your right arm up. Good. And heels to the right. One more each side. Left arm up. And heels to the left. And right arm up. Nice straight line through the legs and the spine. Good. And then we're going to come down into child's pose. Really use the opportunity to rest your hands. Good. And bring your arms forward. Forward Virasana. And then we're going to bring the whole torso forward so that you're laying onto your belly. So bring the elbows out wide. Great. And we're going to come up onto the elbows. I've got a really hard floor. I'm going to put a blanket under my elbows. You might want to do the same thing. But I'm going to have my forearms parallel. So my elbows are as wide as the shoulders. Okay. Now, a couple of things you can do here. Either try and lift your pelvis off the floor up onto your knees, or tuck the toes under, so my shoulders are over my elbows. Tuck your toes under and lift the whole body off the floor. And you're trying to make a plank position, so you can put your knees on the floor, knees off the floor. So we want the lower back to feel long. Squeeze the belly, so the front core squeezes to the back core. Breathe deeply. Keep holding. Keep breathing. Good, and then relax your knees to the floor. Just lay down. Rest your face to one side. Take your arms back beside you. Let your shoulders be nice and wide. Let go. Good. Then you're going to roll over onto your, I'm going to do the opposite, but do your right elbow. Okay, so you can see me. And we're going to try sideways version of that. So your elbow is under your shoulder. If you have a rotator cuff injury, you're not going to do this. Okay, but you also don't want the shoulder just to hang out this way. So you can use your other hand to just have that awareness to keep the shoulder in towards the body. Good. You're going to stretch out through your fingers, your thumb. Okay, so if you need a softer version of this pose, you're going to bend your feet back and lift up onto your knees. Okay, but we want the front core to press towards the back core. Squeeze the pelvic floor. You can lift up. Good. If you want to go a little stronger, legs are out straight. Straight line through your legs, through your spine. And holding. So we're trying not to make a banana shape. See if you can hold and not sink, not sink. Don't let the shoulder flip out. Keep drawing it in strongly to the core of the body. Good. And then release. And then we're going to lay down again. Take your arms back beside you. Turn your face to the opposite cheek. Good. And then second side. So I'm doing the right elbow. You're going to put your left elbow under your left shoulder. Turn over onto your left side. Okay, so there's that modified version where you just fold your lower legs back at 90 degrees. Or you can have your legs out straight if you're going up onto your feet. All right, just make sure you've got your elbow under your shoulder. If the shoulder is heading away from you, draw it in strongly to the mid of the body. Good, and then lifting up either onto your knees or the side of the foot. We want to keep the legs nice and straight, the spine nice and straight. You can reach up through your left arm. Both sides of the neck feel long. Lower back eases forward and front core squeezes in to meet it. Pelvic floor squeezes in to meet. Keep breathing. Good, and then release. Turn back onto your tummy. And relax your arms back beside you. Turn your face to the opposite cheek. And let go. Breathe in a way that feels really satisfying. So even though your ribs are squashed against the floor, breathe deeply. Good, and then you're going to come back up onto your elbows again. We're going to put the palms down this time. Good, so we're lifting the breastbone, draw the shoulder blades back. Just wobble across your pelvis a little so you're really relaxed in your sacrum. You're going to press the tops of the feet, legs are parallel, squeeze your knees away from the floor. Lift the breastbone, looking up. Good. We don't want the back of the neck to feel like it's squashed, so keep length there, whole spine looks up. Good. And then laying down again. Take your arms back beside you, turn your face to the opposite side. So letting all of the tension out of your back, your shoulders, your neck. Good. And then lift up so you don't need that blanket anymore. You're going to bring your hands back to the front of the mat and press up into downward facing dog pose. Just paying attention to how you place your hands. So your knees can be bent if you need, but lift the hips high, or you can press your heels down, lift your kneecaps, your quadriceps, your sit bones. Shoulders wide as you can. Let the armpits lengthen a little. Let the chest lengthen towards the front of the legs. Nod your head. Good. And for full Vasisthasana now, I'm going to do the opposite side, but you're going to lift your right hand, put it into the center of the mat or between where the two hands were. Lift your right leg, put your foot onto the little toe edge of that right foot. Swing your hips to the left side of your mat, or you're facing the left side of your mat. You're going to bring your left foot on top of the right foot. Good, nice straight line, reaching up. If you really want to go for it here, you could try holding your toe. So you take hold of that top leg and reach up. A bridge too far. Good, and then release. Come back into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog pose. Feel the way you're placing your hands. Where do you put the weight in your hands? Fingerprints, base of the index fingers. Good. For the second side, you'll be picking up your left hand and putting it between where the two hands just were. Pick up your left foot, put it onto the little toe edge of the foot. You swing your hips towards the right side of your mat. You pick up your right foot and put it on your left foot. Nice straight line through your legs, through your spine. Turn your whole torso, lift the heart. Front core supports the back core and you lengthen your spine. Widen across the chest. Reach up through your arm. Breathe. And if you want to go that little extra, see if you can take hold of your right big toe and straighten the right leg up to the ceiling. Good, and then release. Woo. Downward facing dog pose, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Good, and then you can either walk forward or take little bunny hops. And when you do your bunny hop, you're going to keep them really light. You're going to squeeze your belly, squeeze the pelvic floor, landing almost without a sound to the front of your mat. Uttanasana. You can put your feet together if your legs are pretty stretchy here, or have them hip width if you need a little bit more room for your back. Just hanging forward. Let your arms be relaxed here. So maybe you're reaching the front of your legs. If you reach the floor, just be on the backs of the hands. So give the fingers a relax. Good. And then we're going to come down into a squatting position. If squatting is uncomfortable for you and you have blocks or a bolster, you can try sitting onto a support. It can just be a low stool. So if you're sitting, you can practice that squat position, but without it being so strong in your knees. So you might need some little bit of support. Otherwise, you're squatting, and some lucky people or people who have worked hard for it can get their heels down onto the floor. You want your toes to go in the same direction as your knees. So wherever the muscles take your knees, follow with your toes. Good. We're going to bring the upper arms as far down towards the floor as you can, or elbows as close to the floor as you can. Listen to your back. So don't go further than your back wants to be. So you might be up here somewhere. You might be able to walk them forward. Good. And from there, just put your hands down so that they are shoulder width. So you might need to lift right up onto the balls of the feet to make room. And look at your hands. Remember what we've been doing. So the pads of the fingers pressed down. There should be wide, even spaces between your fingers. Good. Press the base of the index fingers. You're going to lean your body weight forward into your arms for Bakasana. So this might be where you're working. You're going to squeeze the pelvic floor, lengthen the front core, and squeeze the front core to support the lengthening of the spine. Good. And then relax the heels back down towards the floor. Just relax your hands. We're going to bring them into prayer position, but then a sort of upside down prayer position. So backs of the hands together. Good. And then we'll try that again. So careful and wise with the placement of your hands. If you lift up onto your toes, we want to get the elbows low and the legs high on the upper arms. Good. Now this might be plenty of work for you. If you want to go a little bit stronger, you try walking your feet in together here. And try lifting up one foot at a time. Obviously, we don't want to fall forward and land on our nose. Some people can balance. The higher I can get my legs on the upper arms, the better chance I'm going to have of balancing. Belly squeezes, pelvic floor squeezes. I'm pressing into the finger pads. Nice. Release. Bring the backs of the hands together. And keep the chest nice and wide. Good. And then we're going to come up into Uttanasana. So again, you want your hands very relaxed. So if you're just reaching your legs, just relaxing onto your legs. If you have more movement here, really nice for the wrist to put your hands in underneath your feet. You can bend your knees if you're only just reaching. We're going to try and reach the lower back forward. Or rather than make a rainbow shape, we're trying to make a valley shape. Reaching the breastbone forward. Neck is long, draw the shoulder blades back. You can massage your wrists with your toes. Good, and then you're going to release. And bend your knees and roll up. Roll all the way up. Arms up, look up. Good. So you're going to have your feet under your hips. Feet parallel, legs parallel. Lift the thighs, lift the front of the hips. And take your hands behind you. Going to interlock the fingers and walk your arms back so your chest is nice and wide and press your knuckles down towards the floor. Good. You're going to bend your knees and come forward into Uttanasana again. Just keep your hands resting on your pelvis. Good. Bend your knees enough so you know that you can arch your spine up, arch your spine down, and we're going to try and hold the spine arching down. Breastbone reaching forward, legs parallel. Good, and then see how you go, lifting your hands off your pelvis and lifting them up to the ceiling. Straight arms, straight as you can, just listen to your shoulders. Relax your neck. So lift the arms high. Imagine the higher you lift the arms, the more the neck is lengthening. Hollow your belly so you've got lots of room to reach forward. Keep breathing, keep breathing, keep breathing, keep reaching. Trying to bring the heels of the hands together. Good, and then rest your hands back onto your pelvis. Bend your knees, release your arms, roll up, take your arms out wide, all the way overhead, look up. Good, and as you exhale, back into Tadasana, feeling that nice lift in the front body. Good, and then interlock your hands again and different finger on top, different index finger on top. So it feels a little unnatural. Good, nice and wide across your chest, stretch your knuckles down, tailbone reaches down. Good, bend your knees and reach the breastbone forward. So keep your hands resting here. So you reach as far forward as you can, bend your knees as much as you need, and arch your spine up to the ceiling, and then arch your spine down. We're going to try and keep that shape, reach the breastbone forward, keep the back of the neck long though. Just make sure it feels really comfortable there. Okay, stretch out through your arms again and start to lift your hands off your pelvis. Lift the knuckles up towards the ceiling, just listening to your shoulders here. Make the space that you need, the length that you need. Make sure your neck is long. The higher we're lifting the hands, then imagine the neck able to lengthen with gravity. Good, and then release. You're going to bend your knees, let go of your hands, reach your arms out to the side, reach all the way overhead, look up over Hastasana, lift the front of the legs. Good, and as you exhale, Tadasana. Good, step your feet together, bring your hands in front of your heart, make a little squat position. Okay, it doesn't have to be deep, it can be if you want, but don't have your knees in front of your ankles, so sit the bottom back. Lower back arch eases forward and squeeze the front core to match, and then you're going to lengthen your spine, squeeze the pelvic floor so your spine feels really supported here by that centered power in your body. Good. Now we're going to take the arms, left upper arm over the right upper arm for Garudasana. If you can't quite reach, just comforting your shoulders, but take your upper arms off your chest so you can breathe in a way that feels really satisfying. Neck feels nice and long here. We're going to lift the elbows. Okay, so your left arm is on top. You're going to lift up your right foot just up onto your right tip toes. So you're still really squeezing the pelvic floor, squeezing the front core to support and lengthen the back core, lengthen the spine. And if you have your balance, you can try taking those toes off the floor. You can wrap your right thigh over the left thigh and tuck your foot in beside or behind your left leg. Keep the pelvis level to the floor, strong core, center of the body is strong, lengthening. Elbows can lift. Relax your neck, relax your shoulders. Good, and then release, take the arms out nice and wide. See if you can stay in your squat position, bring the hands back in front of the heart. Okay, just checking that you're really supporting your spine so it feels long, it doesn't feel compressed. So front core supports, squeeze. Good, and then we're going to take the right upper arm over the left, Garudasana arms. If that's uncomfortable for your shoulders, just embracing your shoulders. But keep your upper arms off your chest. You want to be able to breathe in a way that feels really satisfying. Good, lifting up onto your left tip toes. You can keep your toes on the floor if you need that for your balance. Keeping the solid center, really supporting your balance, your lengthening. Good. If you can take your toes off the floor, then you can cross your left thigh over your right thigh, tuck your foot in, either beside or behind your standing leg. But we don't want to lose that good shape for the spine, even both sides of the waist. Squeeze, belly squeeze, pelvic floor. Keep breathing. Lifting your elbows, reaching your hands. Neck is relaxed. Good, and then release. We're still in the squat position. Bring the hands back in front of your heart. Holding that squat, Uttanasana, and you can dip down deeper into your squat if you have that in your legs still. Don't bring the knees too far forward of the ankles. Front core squeezes to the back core. Draw the shoulder blades down. Keep the neck nice and long. Keep breathing, keep breathing. Good. And then straight legs. Yay! Urdhva. Look up. Release your arms. Tadasana. Good. Take your shoulders up to your ears and then slide your shoulder blades down towards your back waist. A couple of nice big shoulder circles. And we're going to take a seat. Practice your sitting without using your hands, or use your hands and move with ease. So we're going to do Gomukhasana, and you might like to sit up onto a blanket or a bolster. I'm just going to use a blanket here. Fold it so it's nice and solid, and I'm going to use it that way. Okay. So you're going to take your, from here, I'll mirror so you're facing me, it'll look like you're looking in the mirror. Your right leg, and put that underneath your left leg. And you want to bring the heel as close to underneath your left hip as you can. And then you're going to take your left foot and put it over to the outside of the knee. And it might not reach, maybe that's a little too far, but as much as you can, this is the shape you're making, you might be able to bring that foot much further, and you can put that on the outside. So we're trying to line the heels up outside the hips. And if you press down onto your feet, you can bring your left knee down closer to your right knee. Good, just take a moment, make sure you've got a feeling of space and evenness in your spine. So the higher that you sit, that's why I used a little blanket, the easier this will feel. Good. We're going to take up the right arm and reach down behind you, and I'm going to take my left hand onto the right elbow and see if I can ease that elbow a little closer to the center. But what happens is then it's pushing my head forward, stretching the back of my neck uncomfortably. So I want to lift and lengthen the front of the throat. I'm reaching down, just holding my t-shirt as far as I can. Good. We're going to take the left arm out now. Rotate your shoulder forward and your palm up to the ceiling. Take that hand behind you, and some fortunate people can reach to hold their fingers. I'm just going to hold my t-shirt here. Good, but I want to keep the sides of the neck long, throat relaxed, face relaxed. You can walk your fingers a little closer, a little closer. Good. And then release. And a little spot of fun. Try this at home. You keep your feet where they are, but you're going to lift up and use your hands to walk your body around to your right side. Ta-da! I hope that worked for you. Okay. Otherwise, you've got your your left leg underneath. So your left foot on the outside of your right hip. Your right knee on top. Okay, you might be here. Maybe you're here. Good. We're going to lift up the left arm and reach down behind you. Use your right hand to help on the left elbow to ease the elbow across to center a little bit more, but make sure you've got that feeling of ease in your throat. Back of the neck long, throat long. Good. We're going to rotate the right shoulder forward. The palm up to the ceiling. Good. And you can hold your t-shirt. You can reach on this side. It might be different for you too. Sides of the neck even, sides of the spine even. Good, and then release. Great, and then we're going to lay down. And it'd be really nice if you have a little support under your shoulder blades, but you don't need one. I'm just going to roll that blanket up. And my head is comfortably on the floor, so I don't feel like I'm squashing my neck to reach back to the floor. This is a pretty thin blanket. A towel might do it if you want to pause the video. And then I'm going to reach my arms back. Just letting the chest really be wide. Make sure your neck feels relaxed, your throat feels relaxed. Good, and bring the feet into Baddha Konasana, bound angle. Soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Breathe deeply into the shape that the posture brings. Even if you're just, your back is flat on the floor, that's fine. The shape of the ribs supported in this way. Relaxing your shoulders. Good, and then gently bringing in your arms, bending in your legs, and rolling off that support if you have one to right, just so you can take that out. Laying back down. Good, and for a little twist now, take the arms out onto the floor at your sides. Bring the soles of the, inside edges of your feet together, knees together. Lift your hips and swing them to the left. Knees are going to go to the right, and if it's too big a stretch, put something underneath. You can use that blanket. We're going to keep the inside edges of the feet together, knees together. Left shoulder blade really relaxes back onto the floor, and you're looking back over your left shoulder. Give the weight of your body to the floor. Feel where the breath reaches into belly. Good. And then gently up to center. Finding center. Lift your hips and swing them to the right, and knees go to the floor on the left. Good, and then back up to center. Bring your legs bent, your feet parallel, legs parallel. Press your lower back into the floor. Let your belly hollow. And then the opposite movement, arch your lower back away from the floor, letting the belly be spacious. Breathe into that. Opposite again, lower back reaches down, belly hollows. And arch your spine up, away from the floor. Breathe into the spaciousness of your abdomen. Good, and then relax your spine back to its natural shape. Feel your shoulder blades moving towards your back waist. Good, and lay your legs out straight. Feeling your weight to be evenly supported, both sides of your body. Let your legs roll out. Find the rhythm of your breathing. Take as long as you like here. Letting go. When you're ready to come out of the posture, bending your legs, roll to your right. And coming up to sitting. Hands in front of your heart. Connecting with your breath, your strength. Namaste.